Okay. Ooh.
Okay, here with Bobby Kotick. Bobby, how you doing? Bobby's the
Great,
CEO of Activision, which just did a big deal with Vivendi. Let's talk about gaming. Where's it going, Bobby?
So probably the biggest single change that we're seeing in gaming is this shift from the solitary experience to the social experience.
Right.
That's true.
Like everything else on the internet.
Blizzard reflects that as much as anything, or Guitar Hero, where for the first time you're seeing
Okay.
people participate with each other in much, much greater numbers. This is really the broadening of gaming into the mass population.
So what was the thinking behind the merger of these two companies?
So that was a big part of it. So we looked at what Blizzard had accomplished with Worlds of Warcraft and StarCraft, and one of the things that we realized is that it was a very difficult business for us to compete in, that they had a brilliant management
So
team
just buy
that
'em.
executed brilliantly in their strategy of how to build out this social gaming network.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
rather than try and compete in that particular area, we thought it was a nice complement to what we did in the console
Yeah,
business.
had you looked into the online space? That's been a tough space for everyone. Electronic arts, everyone sort of stumbled a bit in figuring out online gaming. And so although some of them have been hugely successful, Sony's got some stuff going on. How do they have to be exclusive standalone games and online, or do you feel like it's all just going to be the same thing?
I think eventually you'll see components of each in all gaming experiences, as you've started to see PlayStation 3, Xbox
He was right.
360, and even the
This is
Wii
true.
Right.
have an online component, and as broadband penetrations in all geographies continues to expand, I think you're going to continue to see that social component of the experience evolve, and you'll see it on everything.
Right.
But in their
He was
case,
right.
what we noticed is that whether it was Star Wars or Electronic Arts or other big companies putting lots and lots of capital into online game experiences or massively multiplayer games without success,
Mm-hmm.
that it was an area where we would have a difficult time competing. And we could probably do it,
Yeah.
but it would cost us hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and
Right.
with very high risk and low likelihood of success.
Right, because there's all these smaller online gaming companies too. I mean, that you looked at, considered those kind
Oh
of
yeah,
things.
we've looked at just about everything, but there was nothing that was as obvious as World of Warcraft and Blizzard. And we also knew the Blizzard people. We had a lot of respect. We didn't compete in any areas. There was not a lot of overlap. They had a complimentary group of managers there, so we felt like it was a perfect transaction for us.
Now let's talk about what makes a hit, because you have Guitar Hero 3, big hit this Christmas. Everyone's giving it great reviews, selling
Oh,
like
boy.
crazy. They have World of Warcraft. Is this still a hits business the way Hollywood is, or how do you see it developing?
You know, it's a hits business, but you still are looking at 90% of the hits are based on proven franchises.
Right.
You know, we're on Guitar Hero 3,
Right.
and Guitar Hero 4, and Guitar Hero 5, and whatever the evolution of Guitar Hero
Guitar
will
Hero
be,
103.
They will always be successful. You look at Madden, they're probably on their 17th version of John Madden football.
Right.
They'll be doing John Madden long after John Madden is no longer alive.
Right.
But I think that
That's morbid.
You still need innovation, and what people sometimes forget is that a franchise can be a great roadmap for innovation.
Right.
Because you know what the property represents, you know what its core values are,
Right.
you have a lot of insight into the audience. It actually gives you a greater platform for innovation than something that you're creating from the ground up.
Right. So, but
Okay.
is it require tens of millions of people using a game for it to be successful, or
This
is there a
doesn't
new way
seem-
to be
this doesn't
successful
seem
in
bad.
gaming? I mean, what do you see like one of the key trends going on? Social networking, obviously.
I would say it's not just social networking, but the whole.
Yeah.
There are three areas that we're excited about.
Right.
One is physical interface. Okay,
Right.
so
That's like the guitar itself.
Hero, or the Wii controllers.
Right.
So all of a sudden you're engaging people with what they see on the screen in a more physical
Yeah.
way,
Right.
and that's bringing newer consumers into the market, more
Right.
so than we've ever seen before.
Of course.
The second area that we're excited about is the social elements of gaming, and not just what you see in sort of social networking, but tournaments, ladders, organized play,
Right.
prize play,
Right.
the ability to be recognized for your play,
Ooh.
the ability to have a
Reputation,
social
right,
experience,
okay.
but where you can add a headset and you could talk to somebody,
Mhm.
where you eventually be able to add video and see the person that you're playing with or playing against. All of these things are changing the nature of the experience, which used to be a very solitary me against the machine, to a much more social experience where you're
true.
bringing in, again, broader audiences.
Right.
And then the last area is production value.
Right.
And what we're seeing happen now with production value, whether it's a PlayStation 3 or the PC,
Mhm.
production values are getting elevated to the point where they look like feature films or television.
Right.
And so now we'll be able to unfold stories and develop characters and have facial animation that will rival what you see in feature films and
Right,
television.
right. We
And
looked a little bit at that with Lucas. George Lucas came to D and talked about that, like the development of that. It looks like a real production.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
the
thing.
way that people, I mean, it's very
Right.
difficult to have characters that you have empathy for if the
Right.
way that they speak doesn't look like actual
Or their eyes
mouth
aren't
movement.
correct, or they don't react when they're hit. When they're hit, most of the time they're being shot at and hit at.
This
but
seems to be
Shot
all
at.
true.
they need to be shot out properly, for
Maimed.
example, maimed properly, so that it looks like real life. Do you? Let's talk about the business element, just very briefly, finishing up. Advertising in these things coming.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Putting
It's
advertising.
a
Right.
ways away, and you'll have to have a level of sensitivity that is very different than what you see in traditional forms of advertising or even
Right.
online forms of advertising.
Uh-huh.
The dynamic component can never offend the audience.
Right.
The endemic
Right.
component has to really be appropriate. So what we're hearing from our users is that they're willing to tolerate products and services incorporated into a game that adds a level of realism or authenticity.
Right.
But
Okay.
beyond that,
Why
where
are
it
people
starts to
so
be
negative
crass
about this?
commercialism,
Right.
they will not react well to.
Okay. Last question. Most overhyped thing in the space right now?
In gaming,
Yeah.
Rock Band.
Bobby. Most underhyped thing, and don't you dare say Guitar Hero 3.
I'll say that there's a product called World in Conflict that Vivendi actually just put out.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic product that is not getting the attention it
Yeah, we got enough of World in Conflict, Bobby. Anyway, thanks so much. Bye.
Just a minute. Let me, for one thing, XQC, thank you very much for the resub. Interviewers always sound overhyped, annoying, and pesky, intrusive, and cancer. Some of them certainly do, yeah. I think they're probably just trying to suck up to them. That way the people give them interviews later on. Thanks for the resub, man. And I don't really feel like anything that he said was unreasonable. Like, what did he say that was wrong?
How about everything, man? What part of any of what he just talked about sounded like he knows how to tell people how to make a game? All he knows how to do is run a company and how to absorb companies.
Well,
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear how he described their relationship with Blizzard? He said it was a good transaction. He doesn't view these companies as fucking people or like their product or shit like that. He views it as a fucking transaction.
Well,
Do you understand?
okay, so all right, so there's two things. I think he had a lot of really good insights. And I've never seen anything this guy's ever said before, but he had a lot of really good insights about how gaming would be more interconnected. He was right about that. He was right about being able to see the people you're playing against if you want to look at that from the
You know why
perspective
he
of
was
streaming.
right? Because he fucking forms it. He does all this shit. He makes sure he's right.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, but if he wasn't right and he wasn't going in a direction that his audience wanted, I think it's like more of like, it's like a self-perpetuation because it's something that he is trying to develop and he's saying that people want it, but if people don't want it, then he wouldn't be developing it in the first place.
Then people don't want Diablo Immortal. Do you want more mobile games? Because that's where the market's going.
There's a lot of people that do. Like, that's the bad part about it. If it was so fucking easy that nobody wanted it, then they'd never do it. The problem is that people do want the mobile games. You've got a bunch of fucking random people that don't even know what a Nintendo is, but they've got like 50 different mobile games, and they spend $300 a month on microtransactions. That's what happens.
That's disgusting.
Well now.
Exactly.
Call this